G'day, this is Captain Noob, and welcome back to One Hit Wonder, a game mode in Fallout 4 where you take several times thousands of damage. Basically, it ends up in an instant death game mode, but to give yourself a fighting chance, you also get a 2 times damage multiplier, so you can actually deal with enemies that are a little bit more tanky because Fallout 4 likes to throw tanky enemies at you. So, last time we went ahead and completed Semper and Victor by helping out, what's her name? Scribe Halen and Reese down at the Cambridge Cop Station. Then we flew to the Pridwin and completed Show No Mercy. And on the agenda today, what I want to do is quickly head down to the Wicked Ship Fleet lockup and acquire a key there, and that will allow us to open up all of the Wicked Ship fleeting trucks that are in the Commonwealth, which contain some pretty good loot. But before we go ahead and do that, what I want to do is take care of my rad problem. So this bad boy right here is just a decontamination arch. I believe it came in the Wasteland Workshop DLC, which is a pretty good deal, and it is one of the most overpowered ways you could get rid of your rads, which is kind of nice. So I'm just going to go and fill up the rest of my health with this water thing here. As you can tell there that my health is going up in giant leaps because I've only got like 127 hit points or something like that, which is kind of strange, but what I want to do now is go ahead and modify my weapons. Righto, so at the end of the last part we picked up a penetrating 50 sniper rifle, but since I've got no 50s on me, it's a little less than useful. So what I'm going to do here is just chuck a calibrated powerful receiver on it, and that is basically the highest and most damaging thing you can get from a 308 bullet on this. Although you can get the same damage out of a powerful receiver, the calibrated one will give you a little bit better crit damage, which will be useful as we'll be sniping a few enemies in this part. With all upgrades that I feel like are needed on made, let's just go ahead and go to our objective. Now we've got a little bit of fog happening here, which is less than ideal, although it's a lot less infuriating than the fog that happens in Battlefield 1. I think that is the most irritating fog there is, and it's probably overkill to get rid of these bloatflies with such a weapon, but you know what, I probably needed a bit of target practice and a warm-up for this weapon, so if you could just sit still, my good... Okay, it's getting serious now. And, yep, okay, so this is not the best weapon for it, but we'll just... He survived! He survived that? Wow, this bloatfly is probably hitting the bloatfly gym. Man, I'm glad I didn't die to him instantly, but there's just some random rads there, so... Yeah, I like this game mode because it really changes the meta. Things that you would never even tell the time of day to, like rad roaches and bloody bloatflies. They're the most deadly things ever. You'd sort of want to see a deathclaw more than you'd see a bloody bloatfly, because those things, they shoot those maggots at you, and that's you pretty much dead instantly. And while you're passing by, don't forget to check out this little caravan here, I suppose. I'm not sure what you'd call this, maybe a shack. And yeah, there's a few little bits of loot there, including some Radaway and a stim pack, if you're lucky enough to get that from the thing. Most of the containers in this game are on the RNG side, which can be a little bit annoying, but you can get a stealth boy out of just about anything, like I did for the first time with that duffel bag at the start. So there's usually a bunch of radstags over here. There's definitely one of these things. A pipe bolty, which is good. Some 45 ACPs goes well. Ah, legendary radstag, huh? Well, let's quickly put him out of his misery. And we'll kill his girlfriend too, why not? Cloaking metal left leg. A useless thing because any hits that I receive make me dead, so not too useful at all. We'll just get rid of these bloatflies here. That sounds like a good plan. Now, you'll be a lot easier to kill with... Oh, okay. I'm glad I dodged that one. Yes, bloatflies are a lot easier to kill with a deliverer than a sniper rifle firing 308s. So, if you can figure that out, please email me and explain how. Anyway, this is a running one array chick's shack. That's her dead spooky skeleton there. And basically her deal was she got pregnant by some dude and then she didn't tell her parents, they kicked her out. and she came in here. That book there, by the way, was 5% less chance, or 5% less damage per hit on you for melee weapons, which again is completely useless because any hit will instantly kill me. But okay, so here we are at Wicked Ship Fleet Lockup, and this place is filled with nothing but ghouls, but we can easily get the drop on them because they're all sleeping. There's a Protectron here if you want to open that, and we'll go ahead and bust him open just because we'll get a little bit of XP out of that. And when he's out, he should probably protect us. No, he won't. He'll just sort of stumble around here, and although this is a utility Protectron, he doesn't have the railway spikes on his hands. He's got these clamps, which probably do a mean punch, but nothing much else than that. Okay, so in here you've got yourself just a roamer, I believe, and he'll go down in one shot. And there's a bunch of aluminium cans in here for you to loot, so I highly recommend picking up anything that you find useful. The game's going to try to give you third-party music, but simply turn that radio off and you should be good and not copyright striked on YouTube. Interesting. Anyway, there's a Grognak the Barbarian magazine here if you're a melee character, and there's also the keys which we were looking for. I believe they should be flagged as some sort of legendary or maybe even special thing because they're actually quite useful. Now I believe there is a safe in here next to a dead guy who usually carries a fairly decent amount of caps on him. With safes in these games, they're complete RNG nonsense, so sometimes you can get really good stuff. I actually got a drop of Argent plasma cells in there, which are actually extremely valuable, and since I won't be using the BFG, I don't think I will even use the ammo types at all. So there's a legendary Roma dude. He'll go down and he gives me a Deadeye laser musket. Alright, interesting. A pretty good sniper weapon, all things considered, although I prefer one with a suppressor, so I'm not sure how much use I'll actually get out of a Deadeye sniper laser musket. When it comes to these trailers here, I believe this one has a few little bits of junk on it, as well as rads, so I want to pass that one by. But as you go in here, there is a crate there, and there's also a chest full of stuff here. None of this stuff is really that good, but you can pick up some ammo. Any of the weapons you get are probably unusable by my level, but you can get here a lot earlier and have a bit more fun there. Since it gave us a few frag grenades, I feel like this is as good a time as any to just take them out. Managed to nail 2 there, and number 3 goes down with a cheeky little headshot there. Now there's a little bit of a toolbox here. This thing is locked novice.
That's it.
Question is whether the spoon, the turpentine and wonder glue was worth all of the irreversible cellular damage. I'd say it was. Moving on now. Alright, so we're approaching a cabin here. I believe it's called Gorski Cabin. This place is surrounded by ghouls, so it's a good idea just to get the drop on them with a bit of a sneak attack crit. Don't think I did too well there, but you can go ahead and grind some easy criticals up on them just because Righteous Authority is good at that. And if we need to shoot one in the head and instantly kill it, this is a good idea for that. So wait for you to poke your head out, and then you get a crit. There we go. Got one in the bag when we need it. And you know what, we might as well... Nope, we don't have enough action points, that's fine. We'll just shoot you whilst actually aiming, which I am not too good at today, apparently. And if there was ever a ghoul to take you off guard, I'd be the one sleeping in there. But I know better than to fall for that trick, so we'll kill him and then we'll just enter straight inside. Once inside here, there's nothing in here but a bunch of loot, which I'll get off screen. But as you get into here, you've got Wayne Gorski himself, and no radio playing now. Let's not get copyright struck. So there he is over there, and judging by the amount of damage he's going to take, I'd say he's about the level of a Stalker, which could be a problem if you're a super low level, but we're able to take him out nice and easily with the help of Righteous Authority. One of the more notable things about this room here is that these little bits of mini nuke parts are regarded as scrap, and they're unique in that way. There's none other mini nuke bits quite like it, so that's notable. There's also another useless wasteland survival guide here because Mama Murphy pretty much gives you the location of this after the Concord mission, so completely useless. But I suppose more importantly, there's a bottle cap mine there. Time to loot this place, and I'll meet you on the outside. Okay, so the next location flagged on my compass here appears to be Trudy's Diner. I believe it's called Drumlin Diner. And there's a little bit of a kerfuffle with raiders there, which you can either side with the raiders or Trudy herself. And if you don't side with Trudy, you don't get the store and thus don't get access to General Chow's Revenge. Although we're not going to be using General Chow's Revenge, I don't like raiders, and yeah, these guys are going to die. So you might as well bring out your best weapon for this. That being Overseer's Guardian. And then you can get to work on these raiders. So Simone there is quite a tough gal, but she can go down in one shot. Easily done. And then we can go ahead and loot their corpses and pick up a reward from Trudy.
I can't wait to see the crows feeding on that scumbag.
She's waiting in vain, the crows never do that. Righto, so she gave me 100 bottle caps and a little bit of XP, and wow, you've got a lot of 45 ACPs on you. You know what, I'm gonna take them. You know what, actually, it's probably a better idea to dress up before doing this, just to get a little bit better prices.
Let's see what you have.
All salvage, but nothing's junk.
Yep, and with that charisma boost, I'm actually able to take even more bullets from her, which is good, and I think that's good enough. Right, just one last stop until we go and fast travel to Diamond City. Now, I wonder what is in this random encounter house. Usually there's a few doggos in here if you're unlucky, but no, it's just a settler dude. I don't think he's going to care about me just stealing some first aid, and it wasn't marked as stealing, so I guess he hadn't found it yet. But more importantly, down here is another wicked ship fleeting container thingy, and what you'll find in here is another chest of loot, as well as a spooky scary skeleton if you need to spook somebody. Tactical calibrated 10mm pistol. I'm gonna leave that alone. I've already got the deliverer, and I suppose that is better for now, though. We might go back to a 10mm pistol if we find a good one later on, but I'll meet you back in Diamond City. Righto, continuing our journey south, we sort of want to head this way and go around the corner up here. Then I believe there is a red rocket around the corner here, and this contains some stuff, although I believe it has been picked clean already because there's barely anything in here besides some Mr. Handy fuel in there, and there's also a med kit here for more RNG goodness, and there's also toolboxes here, which is nice. So obviously this bloke was trying to fix his car before the bombs fell, but he didn't make it, the poor bastard. Okay, approaching this radio tower here. Once we get too close to it, we'll actually be ambushed by a bunch of mole rats, which is fun, but luckily for them, if we're nice and hidden at first, they won't detect us right away, and we'll be able to gun through them. All dead, so here we go, they're all popping up. So we got a rabbit, just one mole rat there. I'm not sure if I can actually one-shot the rabbits, so I'll get a crit for them. Okay, not be able to one-shot the rabbits with Righteous Authority, which is that's a pain. Okay, almost got bitten by that mole rat, but we survived, and I believe there is a gun here. It is a hardened sniper rifle, along with some bottle caps and a can, so I've seen combat shotguns here, and I believe combat rifles, but usually this place drops you a nice weapon. We've obviously got better than a hardened sniper rifle, so we'll just leave that there. Righto, if memory serves, there is okay, just another random encounter bit over there. If I could use your beds, that would be nice. Or yep, I could have a...
Now who's this? You here to trade, sister?
Sure, what have you got?
You a trader? Sure. Let me see what you've got.
All right, let her through.
Okay, I don't think you've got anything too great on you. There's a couple of 45 ACPs. Do I have anything spare to sell? Yeah, not too much. She's not one of those traders with a guaranteed legendary weapon, so people obviously don't care that much about her. So, right down there we have, oh god, terrain that hasn't loaded in, and that looks like a vertibird explosion. Now on this save file, the gunner vertibird hasn't been found yet by me, and that might have been it over there. Now, there's Mr. Gutsy over here. We want to get rid of him as soon as possible. Unfortunately, we do not have a crit ready, although it would have been really useful to have that. Let's just knock out his eye there, hopefully. Good old suppressor is keeping us nice and stealthy. I already knew a US army back before the war. I think Winter is still mourning her poor hubby. Alright. So there goes the Mr. Gutsy there. I'm glad those traitors were there to distract him. But now this military compound is completely safe. We might pass through here later, but for now, there's a little bit of power armor over there if that's your thing, and a couple of ammo boxes here. I believe a chest is spawned down here once your faction wins, and yeah, I think the emblem will be there if it's the Brotherhood of Steel. I've seen these blokes here before. Anyway, so there's the super mutants over there at Big John Salvage. Whilst that one is a skirmisher, I've seen masters and enforcers there before, so it's not a good idea to take those blokes on. This place over here is actually, yeah, there's a bunch of bears around, so probably not a good idea to have the sniper rifle there. So we'll whip out the deliverer here and get rid of them like this. So the bears go down there. Got to look out for his mate. Okay, that's just a Yao guy. So that one wandered up to the super mutants, which was interesting. We'll just try to kill him as soon as possible. And yeah, about that meta before, I was talking about how Deathclaws are one of the more less threatening creatures now because they're just so much easier to hit. Same thing goes for these bears. I'm more worried about a pack of wasteland doggos running up to me than these bears, and of course that was the bear cave that always spawns that dead cub there, so that is definitely a struggling bear family. Now, here we are at the South Boston military checkpoint. What we want to do there is just kill all the gunners, and you'll see why soon. As we get in close to here, you can see a gunner conscript, so what I want to do is just take him out. Good thing we've got a big long scope on this thing, so I've got a really good sight at what I'm shooting at. So normally I don't really go for long scopes, so this is sort of new for me. But one thing it does do is makes you use more AP per VAT shot, which is a problem sometimes, but we should be able to get through them all. Yep, there's the commander right on time. You earned yourself a crit, and once I've shot them, might as well fall back here and just be a master of guerrilla warfare, just like blood bugs. One more hit on him, and not exactly one more will take him out, but that's good enough. We've got a conscript running up here. So where are you? Just behind that tree there, is charging me, so I want to take you out nice and quickly. We are receiving a little bit of blind fire at this point, so probably a good idea to just fall back a little bit. And can I see you here? Okay, looks like they've all coming out now. We'll just shoot you in the face there. That must be another gunner commander over there. Take out your arm. One of the gunner commanders is down, and I'll fall back behind these rocks here. Okay, that's another gunner down. More blind fire in response, and got a good shot at you, or at least I thought I did. Another hit on him. This bloke's actually a whole lot tougher than the other one, so, but that's understandable because he's actually wearing a little bit of combat armor there, which is giving him some resistance. And I shot him in the backside, and he died. Okay, didn't mean to hit him there, but I did. And I believe we are all clear in this place, so that's good. Oh look, it's a slightly excited laser rifle. There's also a little bit of a back thing here, just in the truck here. This is where some of them sleep, and it has a little bit of food and ammunition in it if you feel like it. But the main course of loot is definitely inside here, so first aid box here for more RNG aid goodies. Some toolboxes here. This is the standard chest that appears within the main game, and let's have a look. Recoil compensated, powerful pipe, sniper. Okay, I thought that was better gonna be better than a pipe sniper, but it wasn't. A little bit more 10mm rounds here, a master lock chest here. This thing contains nothing particularly useful because it's just an RNG chest. And last but not least, we've got this bad boy here, which contains the Chinese stealth armor. We complete Can You See Me Now, and then we can head off. Don't forget to pick up this on your way out. And I'm going to piss off out of the PA system here so I can go ahead and hear myself talking as I explain what the thing does. So, here's what we look like now. This is the Chinese stealth armor. Players of Fallout 3, specifically the Operation Anchorage DLC, will probably recognize this armor. And obviously it was in New Vegas too, which, yeah, its appearance there was good. And basically what this bad boy here does is basically a stealth suit which acts kind of like a stealth boy that you wear in a way, in the fact that you go nice and invisible when you're crouched, which was nice. Only problem is when you go ahead and move while crouched, it actually uses up AP. This is one of the things I addressed in my little buff patch for this, and if that vertibird could piss off, that would be nice. But as you can tell there, using up AP is not going to be as practical as it was in the other games, but still, it's a stealth boy that goes wherever you go, which I believe is super useful. Now, again, this is yet another wicked shipping trailer key thingy, and yep, we get a bottle cap mine in here, 2 stealth boys, and of course a chest. Obviously this is going to be a little bit better loot, but not much. We're still at such a low level that nothing really good is going to show up. And there's also yet another red rocket thing here, and there's not a lot of things you can find in the containers here, but if you feel like just looting stuff that's in the overworld here, there's a few little bits and pieces of loot that you might be interested in. Now, let's see if there's any super mutants here that I would like to kill. Probably not. I'm looking for any legendaries that show up, but we might as well go ahead and rummage through any of the gunner corpses that we might find here. We should be able to keep nice and stealthy even though we haven't got silent running just yet, but we're nice and invisible, so that's good. Any gunner corpses around? Okay. This super mutant seems to know where we are, so unlike Fallout 3, it isn't completely overpowered and keeps you hidden like anything, but it's still a nice little upgrade to have, all things considered. Yep, so there's a super mutant enforcer. Don't want to even go near him, so we'll go ahead and head down this way. We'll link up with the road again here, and here's what happens when your AP runs out when you're on the stealth suit. So if your AP runs out, like it should in a second, your action points they're drained and they don't go away. But if you keep on walking, for some reason the effect will reactivate and it won't take up action points. So that's an interesting thing. Although, Creation Club has given us a few more half-baked things in the past. So I suppose this is a glitch, so good job there, guys. This stuff should have shifted with the game. Bethesda should have shipped with the game. Anyways, along the trail here, we'll come across this small raider encampment. I believe these raiders are easy to take out enough. We'll just get rid of them. Now there is a turret here, which I want to get rid of because these things detect you probably easier than all of the raiders do. Is that a dead person back there? Probably was. So, just got another raider scum here. Want to get rid of her quickly. There we go. So, with them out of the way, we get the spoils of war, and then we can move on some more. Right, following the road some more, you come with a, this is a Moonshiner's shack, and whenever you go near it, it explodes, which is kind of interesting. But what happens now is you can go ahead and loot the Moonshiner's corpse, and he's got a bunch of whiskey around if you feel like taking that. And you can actually go ahead and sleep for an hour here, which is a nice way to get a little save in before you take on the plaza. Now you can actually farm this Gunner's Plaza place in survival if you go ahead and use this thing here. There's also beds on top of the plaza, which all of the ones that are on the roof sleep on, but I don't feel like using them at all. Whoa, looks like a vertibird's been taken down. Okay, looks like everything's going down here, and If you saw that beautiful blue tracer before, you know exactly what we're going for here. So what we want to do is just identify some of these gunners. Probably an easier time identifying them. Oh, hang on, we've got super mutants having just showing up here. So last thing I want is to have these blokes messing up my killing of gunners, so you get to die. And we're being shot at from somewhere. I believe there is a random encounter down there where two vertebros take on a bunch of super mutants. But since that super mutant was kind enough to take out those two blood bugs for me there, that's actually good of them. There's another skirmisher there. He shouldn't be much of a problem if I'm out of his line of sight. There's a legendary there though. Okay, fine. I'll come to the allure of legendary loot, even though it'll probably be disappointing. So if I could just get eyes on you again. So that's you sitting there. So if I could just hit you once, hit you twice, you go down. Good old suppressed sniper rifle's doing really well. And you know what? I'm kind of warming up to a long scope here. I've always sort of thought that short scopes are the only thing you need, but you know what? I'm actually quite enjoying this long range sniping, and wow, that was close. Okay, so when legendary enemies mutate in this game, if they're using a weapon, they actually get super accurate with it. So if I get spotted by this guy, it's pretty much game over. I'll go for the coin flip shot. Okay, that probably would have hit if he wasn't behind cover, but we're still in caution, which is acceptable. Okay, there it is once again. Nicked half his health with that, and got even more. Okay, so he is shooting at me now. I just heard something scuff along the trees here. We'll just peek along here and shoot him in the face. And still in caution, so there's obviously one more. What I would really like now is just to have a crit ready to go, but unfortunately it's not possible for me. He just missed. Just got to peek outside, or just hit his arm or something. Okay, so even though you're not moving, sometimes the stealth field can fail if you're out of AP from holding your breath, so it's an interesting way to balance it, I suppose. Okay, looks like those blokes are taking on Gunner's Plaza now, which I would not recommend. Okay, that's a Brotherhood Knight. You better not have taken my loot. Troubleshooters, synth, right leg. It's valuable, so I'll keep it for only selling purposes, I suppose. Whoops, didn't mean to shoot there. Oh, looks like the gunners are all being drawn in by the Brotherhood here, so... Oh, okay, she's got a combat shotgun. And one of them has a Gauss rifle. Okay, looks like the commander has actually been lured down here. So if I could just get a cheeky little shot on her head there, I believe that would be good. Maybe if I... Alright. 2 shots there should be good. Oh god, she's in caution. She doesn't know where I am. She doesn't know where I am. It's all good. We'll just quickly back off here. We've got to reload. I'm just going to hide behind this tree. So she's still shooting at my dudes here, so I want to get rid of her as soon as possible. Got another 2 shots, so if I could just quickly... yes! Go Brotherhood of Steel! And I'll have that tactical Gauss rifle from you. Awesome. So with that out of the way, I think we're good to just fast travel back away from here, because, like it or not, Gunner's Plaza is not a place where Winter would want to be. Alrighty, so this right here, the tactical Gauss rifle prototype, or just a Gauss rifle prototype. The only reason why it's tactical is because it's got the reflex sight on it. Basically, this thing is a laser musket with a Gauss rifle. Again, should have shipped with the game Bethesda, what were you thinking? And yeah, it's a fairly decent weapon, and since it's a weapon you can get really early on if you want to, it's just a nice little toy for you to have if you really want to have something powerful in the early game. So, unfortunately for its ammo, it's not something that'll show up all too much, so we'll have to use this thing sparingly. But if any skull enemy comes up that doesn't really want to get killed, or that will be hard to kill, this will be the perfect weapon for it. Alright, let's just get rid of this super mutant suicider quickly, please. No, the game's gonna screw us over there. It's okay though, because we've got quick scoping abilities. Nice. Okay, so he's taken out. I'm not sure how many super mutants were lured into the fight here with the Brotherhood of Steel, but if that suicider can die, that's good. We get a little bit of nuclear material from him, which is nothing to be sneezed at. But I think this place is too unsafe to be lurking about at my level, so we might as well pick up the XP for discovering these places. And we'll be on our way. Hold on. Just gotta kill you. Okay, did make him explode, which was a little bit less satisfying, but here we go. So if he's got the mini nuke on him still, no, it disappears, but yeah, these blokes have the Mark 28 Fat Man, the Mark 28 bombs that Liberty Prime uses. They're just downscaled, not actually Fat Man shells in their hands, so that's a little bit strange, but let's get the hell out of here already. Alright, so looking at the customization options for the Gauss Rifle prototype here, you can see here, while we have the crafting materials to actually do this, this thing requires Gun Nut rank 3, and this thing requires rank 4. And these ones are going to require a mix of Gun Nut rank 3 or 4, or Science 1 through 2. And the muzzles, obviously a suppressor, and this would be super useful at this point, but we do not have the necessary ranks for that. Now, if you can deduce anything from that, you can probably tell that Gun Nut is going to be super important. As for the Chinese stealth armor, it has no customizations options on it, so don't even bother with that. Now for the ammo deal of this, with a spot of intelligence and then a spot of science to go with that, we can go ahead and build none other than an ammunition plant with it. So if we go ahead and build that, then connect some power and a terminal to it, we can go ahead and access what this thing can make. And as you can see here, we've got a bunch of rounds that it can make, including if you go ahead and click onto it, it'll actually tell you what things you need from it, which is interesting. So as you can tell here though, the 2mm electromagnetic cartridges aren't actually allowed to be built yet, and that actually requires Gun Nut rank 4. The game actually doesn't specifically tell you this, but if you go on the wiki and you can find this stuff out for yourself really. So what I need for fertilizer, which is my sort of most scarce resource at this point, is a Brahmin, and basically what a Brahmin does is it gets into your settlement and it shits everywhere, and that's a good thing though, because the shit is highly useful for making ammo and explosives. Now to get one at your settlement, I think you need to reach a specific population cap. Now we've already got a few of this thing we've already got a bunch of population here, but we're going to need more, and the way to do that is to build a little bit of a radio beacon. Once built, this thing here will just basically periodically give you settlers. But to sweeten the deal of Sanctuary a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and create some defenses. And whilst doing that, we're able to complete Sanctuary too, and we'll turn that into Sturges for some more XP, I suppose. One heavy turret up there, and the other heavy turret up there. And that'll probably get rid of the ne'er-do-wells coming from this side. And I believe it is time to turn that quest into Sturges for a little bit of XP.
I guess I better get back to it.
And when he says get
Take
back
care
to
now.
it, basically what he means is just hammering that same damn fan for the rest of time. Anyway, with Sanctuary done there, and this place all set up for a Brahmin, and yeah, I think that is a good time to call it a part here. Now, sorry this part is so short here, I actually had serious trouble recording and putting this thing through my video editor, so it's going to be coming up a little bit short and a little bit later than usual. But anyways, thank you for watching, boys and girls, fellas, and everyone else. And if you'd like to have this or try this in your game, there is going to be mod links in the description. Basically the Death Ring mod will allow you to do this, and yeah, it'll be for all platforms too. And thank you for watching, guys.